He's still in the Sunday school room being punished.
What? What? I'm glad to see that you now understand what the true Christmas gift is.
For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but to save the world through him. Well?
What better way to get into the Christmas spirit than an obscure, uncanny valley children's film that a Redditor found? I went into this expecting to cover nothing more than a strange piece of media, but ended up going down an unforeseen rabbit hole. Before we get right into it, I wanted to share with you guys that I've recently partnered with GamerSupps, which is pretty cool. And it's pretty cool for you as well, because if you go to gamersupps.gg/sombertoboggle and use code sombertoboggle within the next 48 hours, you'll get completely free samples to try some of their flavors. Like no shipping fees or entering any payment info. I've been able to try a handful myself, and now I've been drinking a lot of Blowhole Blast. If you already know any flavors you like, or there's a cup that you want, you'll get free shipping with the code SomberToboggle, but after these 48 hours have passed, it'll turn into 10% off, and will not expire anytime soon. So feel free to use it literally whenever you like to get your discount on any GamerSupps items. Hope that all makes sense. The link and code will be in the description if you're interested. Now that we've got that out of the way, let's just get right into it. On May 12th, 2023, user Tula Ash would make a post to the Lost Media subreddit. A very bizarre, poorly animated Christmas movie called The Special Christmas Gift. They started off with, "I am finally making a post as I am unsure what to do with this. I believe I am currently in possession of an extremely rare animated movie called The Special Christmas Gift by Creative Digital Images. I picked it up at a thrift store for 99 cents about 5 to 6 years ago when I was on my buy all the bad media I can kick, thinking I would look it up later when I got home. Much to my surprise, I found absolutely nothing about the movie on the internet. No Wikipedia page, no YouTube reviews, not even an IMDb page. The only thing I had to go off of was a long-defunct webpage on the disc itself, cdi-animate.com. The back of the movie claims it was released in 2000, but visiting this webpage on the Wayback Machine makes me suspect it was actually released in 2002 or later. Other than that, the webpage provides no info. If you Google search Creative Digital Images, you will find a current company who holds that same name, but I believe to be entirely unrelated. It appears the Creative Digital Images around today is comprised of one person, and when I looked through the credits of The Special Christmas Gift, his name was nowhere to be seen. Lastly, the DVD menu for the movie is about the weirdest DVD menu I've ever seen. I've never seen such a bare-bones, straight-to-the-point menu ever. In the movie they mentioned they did get some licenses for a few well-known Christmas songs. I was thinking to myself, now how would a company this unknown have enough money to pay for multiple licenses to well-known Christmas songs? Which does make me wonder, is it entirely possible the whole thing was a money laundering scheme? I don't know, I'm grasping at straws for answers here. About once a year, I wonder about this movie, try to get answers, fail, and then forget about it for another year. If I have a piece of rare lost media on my hands, well, I'd want to get that shared with the world, but I'd also like some answers. Finally, here's screenshots from the movie. Users within the thread were immediately intrigued, especially considering all we had were a few screen caps of the desolate menu and characters. Having such minuscule documentation on it only heightens the curiosity. People were legitimately begging OP to upload the film anywhere at all in its entirety so we'd be able to give it a look with our own eyes. Based on the visuals and negative emotional aura, someone said it gave them Rhapsody Street Kids energy and couldn't wait to see it.
Nicole.
It was so insanely obscure that a user noticed on someone's collection of over 1,200 Christmas videos, this movie was nowhere to be found. If The Ring had a sequel, this is what the cursed DVD's menu would look like. We, however, did have an answer to the barren menu. User Wind Equivalent 4284 shared that they'd seen it on home movies and bootlegs on DVDs they've also found at thrift stores. Someone replied confirming it's from standalone DVD-R recording units, and after looking it up, checks out. So thankfully, no Ring shenanigans going on. We had yet to know any other information on the enigmatic film, but Kodiak 01 would be the first to provide a lead. They asked if OP had tried getting a hold of the producer, Kirk Nash, as they had found 3 vital things: his resume, website, and a teaser for the special Christmas gift. Kirk said he added real fur to characters when most studios were faking fur with textures. I honestly don't know what that means. He also alleges it was award-winning, aired not only in the US, but internationally, and sold in stores, along with the largest online distributors. Bold claim. Reading this brought me back to OP wondering how the company could afford the rights to such popular Christmas songs. Cause now he's saying it's been aired on over 6,000 channels and viewed by millions worldwide. A DVD that this person who found it at a thrift store could find absolutely no further info on until the Redditors investigated. I genuinely thought the mystery and confusion would clear up as I looked into it myself, but all I found myself with were more questions. Was he just embellishing for the sake of it? His YouTube channel, where he posted the trailer, has a decent amount of real highlights where we can see he undoubtedly improved upon his animating skills to a huge degree, and did do advertising for other companies. But that still doesn't solve the special Christmas gift. We have a trailer now though, so on to that. It's 3-minute footage of an array of scenes featured in the film. We can't hear the auditory contents of the film though, because the whole teaser is set to a rendition of the Christmas carol, God Rest You Merry Gentlemen. This is what a user had to say after feasting their eyes upon it. I don't feel teased at all. I did feel a little weirded out seeing a human Jesus crucifix in a mouse and rodent church. Here's a quick rundown of what we had so far aside from the 3-minute trailer. A website for creative digital images that says they've been providing high-quality 3D animation since 1998, nationwide. And before the site was defunct, the company was apparently reviewing potential employees' demo reels. We've got Kirk Nash's detailed resume, YouTube channel with projects, LinkedIn, and his website, where we learn he created an augmented reality Angry Birds exhibit. He's a man of many things. His passion for his work shines through on this website, and he improved greatly over the years. I don't mean to tease any of you myself, but I did find a Chicago animator's special report featuring CDI and Kirk. Created the original productions Wonder Worm Glad I'm Green, and provided animation for George and the Flies. These are nowhere. We've actually accumulated lost media now. Despite the lack of online presence and limited information regarding Kirk or CDI, we now do have a substantial amount of backstory. Unfortunately, it came with the addition of more media we can't see, but the special Christmas gifts info is pretty well documented. An answer or the ability to watch the full film felt right at our fingertips, but there was still no upload on OP's end, or an explanation as to why they hadn't shared it yet. But nearly a month after making the post, someone new to the discussion would make a comment. Funny to see this here. I stumbled upon a VHS copy of this movie a while ago. They then went on to add they had uploaded it to the Internet Archive half a year before OP turned to Reddit. Their VHS listed the same defunct website as OP's DVD copy, and figured the DVD was secondary to the VHS release. Strangely enough, I have found zero proof of the VHS tape's existence aside from this comment. It appears to have been sold at religious bookstores though, as the price label is from a Christian bookstore. OP also affirmed they weren't just ignoring people's pleas with wanting an upload of the film, and the Internet Archive website just wasn't working for them when they attempted to post it. But at last, this user had given us the privilege of being able to delve into the whole movie. When they referred to the company's additional work as a bunch of different things, I should have known what I was in store for, but more on that later. Just like the trailer states, the special Christmas gift has a 48-minute runtime. I clicked on that archive.org link and watched every second of those minutes. It begins with anthropomorphic mice, one playing a bootleg Game Boy, another jamming out to music, their mother watching what sounds like mouse reality TV, and father over here on the computer finishing up Christmas shopping. He asks,
Derek, Marie,
if there is anything else they want for Christmas, but the children are too distracted with their technology, so he repeats their names 6 times. It cuts to the grandparents, disappointed their descendants have forgotten Christmas isn't about
getting more stuff.
The power then abruptly goes out.
What? No.
Grandma reassures them, verbatim, sometimes when it seems that the world is going to the cats and things can't possibly get any worse, something happens to make you realize that everything really isn't so bad, and maybe even what you thought was so terrible was actually a blessing in disguise. The kids are not having it, but grandfather says how it reminds him of a Christmas when he was a young mouse. One that he thought was going to be the worst Christmas ever, yet it ended up being the best. This is the exposition and sets up what the movie is actually about. Grandpa Mouse commences his story. We get the spectacular title card. Grandpa Mouse starts off with narrating. It was Christmas Eve in his small town of Garland Creek. Everyone was anxiously awaiting Christmas, with the exception of him, as he had too many behavioral issues, so he knew he wouldn't get anything from Santa. This further aggravated his father, the mouse pastor, since he wasn't getting in the Christmas spirit. However, it was that night he would receive the greatest gift of all. We then see the human Jesus crucifix in a rodent church, and they break out in song. Song being the one in the teaser.
Oh, tidings of comfort and joy.
Musical pieces are going to become a recurring thing, that's for sure. Also, they got realistic ass hands. Well, they're 4-fingered, but are structured in an anthropoid manner. I guess you gotta have hands like that to be able to break it down on the piano. This is how their carol ends.
That was wonderful.
This is the Pastor Mouse father, by the way. He asks if anyone has seen Johnny, his son, and a child informs him that he is still in the Sunday school room
being punished.
He replies that Johnny has gotten into more mischief this year than all of the children in town put together. Johnny doesn't want to come to Christmas service since he won't be getting any toys anyway. The child tries to remind him of how it is to be a child awaiting Christmas and reassures him even the prodigal son returned. The pastor traverses down this dreary hallway to fetch his son. Johnny is singing about how he won't get anything for Christmas, and this is when I realized the movie was probably a musical. Also, why does the way he moves remind me of Bear from Bear in the Big Blue House? Johnny reiterates there is no point in participating in a service if he is getting no presents. This has been the same shit for 12 minutes now? The father says, Christmas is about a very special gift that everyone received a long time ago. His dad asks Johnny to read Luke chapter 2, and that he will be back in 30 minutes.
Yeah. Luke chapter 2.
Johnny does not read Luke chapter 2. He then embarks on his adventure. After walking outside, a group of beavers sing the Two Front Teeth Christmas song because one of them can't properly carve the wood. Then she goes to the dentist outside, gets teeth, and they crumble away. This shit is actually kinda scary. How many of you have had unsettling, teeth-breaking dreams? This is when things started to take an even more peculiar turn. He goes downtown to Garland Creek Toys and hopes he'll find the special gift his dad mentioned. The snow globe bounces and he's like, I think something's moving. There are live penguins inside that break out into more song and dance. They're dreaming of a white Christmas because, as you can see, they are in a very grassy climate. It's getting more surreal than I had anticipated. We should have known. This snowman is literally staring into my soul. They go sledding together, and there is no smooth transition at the end of the segment, which is a repeat thing throughout the movie. Johnny recalls how Dad said the special gift isn't something you can put under a tree, so it couldn't be this sentient snow globe. Next window is a travel agency. An elf goes on a tropical getaway with his deer that moves unearthly. A flamingo and tree come to life. I have already listened to too many renditions of Christmas songs and we're not even halfway in yet. After this, he comes across a bakery, so figures he has time for a quick snack. Moving leprechaun in the window, what else would you expect? But this of all times is when Johnny says,
I must be hungrier than I thought. I'm starting to see things.
Did you not think that when the snow globe jumped and did a 3-minute long performance? We already know what's going to happen, the leprechaun sings. We've got homicidal gingerbread men, and this woman's dentures fly out of her mouth. It goes without saying, the fruit has to be alive, and also, am I reaching, or is this a subtle sniffing glue joke?
And he swore that he wished he was dead.
After the leprechaun finishes his song, Johnny loses his appetite and just walks away again to the next place. The film does not have a sequential energy by any means, and is incredibly repetitive, yet somehow manages to keep me on my toes. Upcoming side quest is a trip to a zoo in hopes a pony, baby elephant, or tiger is wrapped up and waiting for him. He hears music coming from inside a cave, so naturally figures that's where his present resides. Was not expecting a cheerleader hippo with a human bedroom. Her song is I Want a Hippopotamus for Christmas. Johnny gets on the hippo, Mario 64 Dory style, and joins in. It's evident this hippo wants a football hippo boyfriend. She knocks poor Johnny off the dresser, and this is how her section ends. But oh, Johnny remembers, a hippo wouldn't go under a tree either. Back downtown at the window of a grocery store.
Hola.
I wish I were you right now.
This is the most repetitious yet unpredictable movie ever. Johnny explains the hunt for his special gift, and the pepper takes him inside to introduce him to everyone.
And that is Gordo.
The Peppers began performing Joy to the World with Gordo on drums. This band should have been on your guys' Spotify Wrapped. The multitude of Peppers hear the music from afar, so go skydiving to join in on the fun. This movie is honestly kinda priceless, I can't deny that. After the Peppers finish their show, Johnny walks away and finds a trio of ants huddled around a fire. They twinkle in circles and transport after seeing what I believe is supposed to be the Star of Bethlehem. Then this is what Johnny has to say to them.
How can you guys talk about being kings? You're just like hobos, and you're standing around a fire in a tin can just to keep warm.
Ruthless ass kid. The ants inform him that they are rich, just in a different way than what Johnny is thinking, saying they all have received a very special gift. Johnny perks up and asks if he can buy the gift from them since he's been looking all over town for it. After they explain that you can't buy it or put it under a tree, this one tells Johnny that you can find the gift in Luke chapter 2. Johnny begins realizing stuff reminiscent of a Saw movie end montage.
We all have received a very special gift.
Christmas isn't about gifts under the
The
tree.
gift that we're talking about isn't something you can wrap and put under a tree.
Christmas is about a very special gift that everyone received a long time ago.
I'm assuming one of the main purposes of the movie was to get children to read Luke chapter 2 because they never explicitly discuss what that part of the Bible is about or details on how Johnny exactly learned anything. These ants just say the same stuff his dad said to him at the beginning, but now he understands, I guess. Then these drawings float ethereally in the sky to silent night for 3 minutes. His father appears and asks him where he has been since he's been looking everywhere for him. Johnny explains he went looking for the special Christmas gift that his dad kept talking about, but eventually learned it wasn't something that could be bought, was free for the asking, and would never wear out or break.
I'm glad to see that you now understand what the true Christmas gift is.
Johnny requests a minute alone outside, then a mouse walks up to him. She is the new kid that recently moved in, and her family chose a good barn to live in because the girl there is allergic to cats, implying these mice can get eaten by cats. Her family already entered the church, and she didn't want to go in alone, so wants to know if Johnny could go in with her, adding,
It's okay. It's not like I'm asking you to marry me or anything. Just walk inside.
They walk up to the church, and as they grab hands, we learn this is how Johnny met their grandmother.
Hey, the power's back.
The grandparents insist everyone can go back to doing what they were previously doing, but instead they want to hear their grandma play piano like what they said she did before all these gadgets.
Oh, yes, Grandma.
She abides and they sing "We Wish You a Merry Christmas." It zooms out to show the tiny mouse house they were living in, and shadows in the windows dance side to side. Also, it makes no sense that they have a tiny mouse house, because why do they have a normal-sized town? I'm not even gonna worry about it. As the credits started to roll, I found myself feeling an odd sense of contentment. In all seriousness, jokes aside, it's an endearing film. Albeit in a strange, unpolished way, but I dove into this puzzling Reddit post with hopes of solving something. And here I was, watching the credits, feeling like this was nothing more than a heavily obscure children's film that was long forgotten. Even though Kirk Nash says it's been viewed by millions, this thread is the only instance of discussion for the movie. Had it not been for this post, it'd easily have drowned into an endless sea of other indie DVDs left at thrift stores. What began as a quest for an answer turned into visiting an abandoned piece of media. Maybe the purpose wasn't unraveling a mystery that some speculated was a money laundering scheme, but appreciating it in all its bizarre greatness. I searched the names credited, however most of the characters are voiced by Kirk Nash himself, others that share his last name, or people with the surname Gowans. It could be Gowans, I honestly don't know, it's not a common last name, but I'm just gonna say Gowans. The credited character animation supervisor, Tony Zaviro, did lead me to this article, and to my pleasant surprise, cleared up the confusion with how CGI could afford purchasing the rights to so many songs whilst being such a small company. The Special Christmas Gift was a project that took 18 months. It started out with 6 animators and my boss. He had to let everyone else go midway through the project because he was funding it himself. Thanks to this article, we also know it aired on PAX, UPN, and FamilyNet. He also confirms it indeed was sold at Christian bookstores in addition to this. We have some quotes from Kirk Nash himself talking about Tony. He wanted that video to happen probably as bad as I did. The pieces were starting to come together. This was evidently a passion project for Kirk. It was made by so few people in order to afford the song's rights, and he's gotten exponentially more talented at animating, so we can assume he likely didn't have much experience with creating movies at the time. I was finally getting my closure. Wait, what is Mominity Records? Oh, okay. Owned by Dirk Gowans. There's more. This opened a can of worms. There are 0 results for this Get Everett band. It says 2004, but it's described as 90s punk, and the description just says, "He will explode." I noticed the eBay listings location was Illinois, and I don't mean to be creepy, but both Kirk and Dirk Gowans are from Illinois. The seller's name is CD Lady and has over 400 music-related items for sale, so I'm sure she has no connection with the Gowans and found this at a local thrift store. Funnily enough, much like OP's story. The insert art is this comic, and on the back cover, we get a track list. Special thanks to the Squirrel, and of course our loyal fans. There are 2 websites on this back cover, mominity.com and geteverett.com. It now felt like right when I thought I had a conclusion, I was going to go down an entire internet rabbit hole of media produced by this Illinois group of people, plus I unveiled 10 essentially lost songs, because unless someone buys this and uploads it, there is no evidence of this band's music anywhere. Thankfully, mominity.com was saved 58 times on Wayback. This site seems to have been rendered defunct in early 2014. This begs the question, why was this obscure production company's website archived so many times? And repeatedly for years to come, even after it was shut down. For reference, Paranoia.com's archive count is 419. I know that's 7 times the amount of this site, but Paranoia was huge in the 90s. We knew how Kirk afforded the Christmas music rights, but the exact same feeling of that kind of confusion returned. Are there interdimensional people whom we can't interact with that were the aforementioned millions who saw the special Christmas gift and going to mominity.com? Let's just get right into it. Okay, I'm kidding, but there was nothing else to even bother with when it came to mominity, and I don't think it's that interesting of a topic. GetEverett.com is the whole other can of worms. The band does tie back into the metaphorical interdimensional people, though. It is somehow a near entirely archived functional site from the early 2000s, mentioning a packed show for the release of their CD, a mailing list, merch, and some sort of fan club. Meanwhile, there's no other existence of them I could find online, besides the old site that I'm on and eBay listing. They detail all the times their songs were played on radio stations, and now there's essentially no trace of them online. Y'all, pray for the mysterious song, and everyone knows that. At this point, we've completely derailed from Christmas mice. There can never be an absolute conclusion when it comes to the world of obscure, lost, or unidentified media. There is simply an infinite amount, and the rabbit hole will never completely dwindle. I couldn't play the music without Adobe, and even if we buy an archive He Will Explode, there is an EP from early 2003 that I can't find anything about other than on this site. Possibly unobtainable lost media. Quick overview of lost media I've run into. Wonderworm, Glad I'm Green, George and the Flies, He Will Explode, a 2003 EP, and also Mominity Records has songs from a musical that appear inaccessible. I tried to look up the GetEverett.com domain history to see who registered the site, but was unable to find anything on sites that didn't have a paywall. After scouring through the archived pages, though, I found one that gave me a pretty complete backstory and plausible answers. One of the band members is a Gowans. All of their shows were in Illinois, so garnering a local fanbase is obviously super common. They have mentions of a MySpace, and we know how that can just be wiped from the earth. It makes sense that a local band has never been talked about anywhere since, and reality is, there are a colossal amount of songs from smaller bands that will never see the light of day. I was initially perplexed as to why Kirk Nash presented the special Christmas gift as critically acclaimed, and why Get Everett had such a fleshed out website talking about all of their shows and fans, when today there's little trace of the special Christmas gift or Get Everett. However, it seems this was nothing more than a tight-knit group of people in Illinois who had access to a lot of resources and equipment. It seems the Gowans family is just really into creating media and sharing their resources with friends. And we already established how the special Christmas gift was a passion project for Kirk. They were all pursuing their dreams just in full force, and I gotta say, I really admire that. Sadly, at some point while making this video, for some reason, someone bought the CD. There's a chance we're legitimately never going to be able to hear what was on it. And we've ended off with knowledge of more lost media than we started with. Except, I'm that someone who bought it. And the reason was to let you guys know when it gets here, so stick around if you want to hear this wildly obscure album. I don't know what to expect. It's labeled as 90s punk on the listing, but they were a band in the early 2000s. So we'll just have to wait and see. I couldn't just watch and let this album slip through my fingers. I'm excited to be able to share with you all, no matter what it ends up being. Very bizarre experience to brace yourself for an unsettling children's film shrouded in mystery. Realize it's endearing, yet at times really weird, but not really a mystery, just obscure. Then you unearth some faux empire of a recording studio, a band, even a lost musical. But hey, at least we got the CD and know what the special Christmas gift movie was all about. Quite the journey, and I now know what the special gift of lost media is. Be on the lookout for Get Everett's album, and thank you.